Going straight and direct into the next panel. I already mentioned it, pushing the boundaries of sim racing hardware, it's called. And I have the perfect guest for that, as they are representatives of very well-known hardware manufacturers. I'd like to welcome on stage Thomas Jackermeier, founder of Fanatec. Please come over. Yes, there you are. Hey, good to have you here. Please have a seat, and I will introduce the other ones, and then we're going to have a talk together. André Eriksen is there, founder of Asetek. So good to have you here. Hello. Welcome on stage. Have a seat, please. Sten is there, founder of Trak Racer, of course. Yes, there you are. We already talked to each other. Good to see you again. Have a seat. And Ascher, founder of Ascher Racing. I've already seen you. Yes, good to have you here. Please have a seat over here. Yeah, the first one is yours, or second, actually. I'll take the first one. That's good. Guys. First of all, good to have you here. How are you doing? Perhaps like just tell me, how do you like Nuremberg? Did you get here all fine? All nice.
Thanks for having us. I'm from Munich actually, so pretty close by.
Yes. What is nicer, Munich or Nuremberg? Hard to say.
I'm diplomatic, both.
Okay, that is nice. Have you visited the Christmas market yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Okay. How about you?
Landshut is more nice, of course.
Landshut is more nice, of course.
Except of the weather. I hate the German weather. It's always like that.
Yeah, okay, what can I say? It's typically German, but there are countries where it's worse, like, to be honest.
There's always places where it's worse.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. It's the positive point of view. How do you like Nuremberg? Have you been arriving good, and are you doing fine?
Yeah, we had a 16-hour bus ride down here together with our race car, so that was quite eventful.
Oh, I believe so. What was the event in that?
Well, I think we are on a pretty fast pace, so being, I think, 10 people in the bus, having time to speak for once was actually quite nice. Some of my team back home hated me because now I had time to fire away 100 emails.
Could you please hold the mic a little bit?
Yeah.
Thank you, that's super nice. Okay, so you had fun already, that's good. There's going to be way more fun, I guess, right here on the fair. Also for you, how do you like it? Did you like...
I'm from a bit further away in Australia. So I flew into Amsterdam the other day and then drove up from Utrecht in Netherlands, where our office is.
Yes.
It was about 8 hours. So.
But it's summer in Australia right now, right?
Yes, it is.
So it's super cold over here. And did you bring some jackets and stuff?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. And do you think, like, what the hell am I doing here? It's super cold, and why do I do this?
Well, I think anyone is here.
Yeah.
In regards to the brands, and we had to be here.
Yeah.
So we brought over our team from Europe, one guy from Australia, and yeah, we've gone pretty large this year.
Cool. Yeah.
Why don't we make the Expo in Australia?
Yes. Damn it! Just didn't think of it. Sorry. Also, not that I'm the one in charge to decide that, but whatever, wherever it goes, I think that can be a worldwide thing, because sim racing is worldwide already, right? Guys, now that I have you on stage, I just didn't mention that there are so many people watching, and so many people every day, like, kind of new into the scene. So may I please ask you to introduce yourself a bit and talk about your company and talk about what you're doing? That would be so nice. Perhaps starting with you.
I'm Martin Ascher, the founder of Ascher Racing. We are in the business since 2014, I guess. Actually, my background is I'm a mechanical engineer. I worked in aeronautical engineering, and I started the business when I was a student and started sim racing, and at some point I wanted to have other products and test myself a little bit. And as a student, I couldn't afford stuff.
Yeah.
So what choices did I have? I had to build them by myself, and then I started building stuff. At the university, I was in the racing team, the former student racing team.
Yes.
And that's where I learned a little bit how to develop products, how to test them, how to improve them, how to destroy them. And that's where everything started. And then I started building pedal shifters for steering wheels, for my own steering wheels, showed them online in some forums, and actually people asked, can I buy this? How is it going on? And then I founded the company.
Okay.
and from that onwards,
now Ascher Racing is pretty well known, actually, for coming from that. It's crazy.
We extended the product portfolio continuously to steering wheels, button boxes, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a continuous process.
We're going to talk about soon about what you're coming up with now, but of course, also Thomas, tell us a little bit.
Yeah, Thomas Jackermeier, founder and CEO of Endor AG, which is the owner of the brand Fanatec. And so we have our 25th anniversary this year.
Yes, congratulations to that.
Thank you. So it's been quite a while. I've been around for quite a while, and so we just had a chat with the colleagues of Logitech. We've beaten them just to make the very first steering wheels for just a very short time. So it was, for me, it was pretty similar. I mean, I turned my hobby into my passion, into my profession, and did this right after my study. Still love to design the products. So I'm still the main product manager at Endor, and most of my ideas are coming into the products. Although now we have obviously a much bigger team, and we have a much bigger team of which is very international. So we have over 31 nations in our company, and most of them have motorsport or sim racing background, which is fantastic. I want to have people with the same passion in the company, and and we are trying to push the boundaries of sim racing further and further, and happy to be here.
Yes, so happy too. So we are looking into how you're trying to or planning on pushing the boundaries. But next, then André, please tell about Asetek.
Yeah, I also have 25 years anniversary with Asetek, but not on the sim sport side. I think we have 1 year anniversary. It was a year ago since we showed our first pedals in the Phoenix Racing Shop at Nürburgring. But yeah, I think it's the same founder story. I founded Asetek back in '97 while studying at the university, doing liquid cooling. No, actually we started to do compressor cooling back then. I have a background as a toolmaker and an engineer, and then a lot of other pronunciations I don't remember. Founded the company. Our main business, or our core business, is actually liquid cooling. Mm-hmm. So we are selling to all the big gaming brands that you already know. So we come from the PC side and the gaming side of things, and at least for now, that's where we also make our money. And I've been racing since I was a kid. Everything from motocross to go-karts to cars. Now I'm spending all my money on my son and his racing, supporting Thomas in a Fanatec sponsored series. And then, we're actually moving to LMP3 next year. Okay. You're not there, are you?
Actually, I will join GT2 racing next year.
Okay. So yeah, we come from the racing side and the PC side, and as a company, it's been difficult to figure out where to move because we don't want to compete with our customers, and I don't think we can make a better keyboard or a better mouse. That's not invented yet. So I know simulators from the racing world where we use them. Not so much for participating sim racing, but more to prepare for real races. So that's our angle into it, and yeah, I guess we are the newest one here.
Mm-hmm. Probably yes. Well, not hard if you're so young, but still.
Thank you.
Nice. Good to have you here. Welcome on stage.
Thank you.
Matt of Trak Racer, please introduce yourself. Tell a bit.
So I started Trak Racer in 2008. So we had our 14-year anniversary this year. Mm-hmm. For me, it was just like seeing what was available and saying to my dad back then, who's a fabricator, we can do better. And then we did. And for several years, it just flourished in Australia, and then we took it overseas, I think in 2019 at the Sim Expo. We were a lot smaller then, not really well known in Europe, but since then we've formed a partnership with the Alpine F1 team, also Airbus aircrafts, and we'll continue to move down that path with lots of new products and
Yes.
We've just released the Alpine Racing TRX as well.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, obviously. But before we do that, just a little hint to the audience. On stream, you're very welcome to ask questions on Twitter under the hashtag AskSRE, like Sim Racing Expo, AskSRE with a hashtag, of course, so that we can see it, and we will probably put the questions on screen, or I will ask them. So if you have any, please feel free to just do that. Otherwise, I will ask, and this is supposed to be not a question-answer game, but like that you can all like talk together and discuss topics. And first topic from my point of view would be the work with the car manufacturers, because back in the days, December 2020, the podium steering wheel BMW M4 GT3 was revealed or presented to the public, and that was kind of somehow a quantum leap you did there, because that was the first actual thing that you could use in a real race car, then take it out, put it or connect it to your sim racing rig and race in the virtual world. And I think everybody was like, oh damn, now it's getting serious. So nowadays, seeing that a lot of other teams do that, corporations like, for example, Ascher with McLaren, we're going to talk about that, and also Trak Racer with TRX rig with the Alpine team. These connections are growing, and where is it going? Or do you think other car manufacturers are going to make moves like this, for example?
Well, actually, the BMW was the first real-world steering wheel we released, but it was not the first one we were working on, because that was the Bentley. The Bentley, which was used in the Pikes Peak Rally, and which is about to be released, and the same now with the Ford, the M Sport. A steering wheel, which we are also showing. So we already have 3 different real-world steering wheels, and I'm not surprised that other companies are doing it as well, because it simply makes sense to have this combination. And actually, we got fantastic feedback with it, because I mean, for the car manufacturer, it makes sense for. Because it's actually we have a quite high technology, and also the pricing is very attractive for them, because they are not making just a few units, but we are making several hundreds or thousand units. So this was a logical move, because money in motorsport is always tight. And for the sim racer it makes sense, because I mean, sim racing is also about immersion and having the most realistic experience out there. And I mean, it can't be more realistic than having the original steering wheel on it. Sometimes we need to add a little bit more. For BMW, for example, we had the D-pad in the logo added, so the sim race gets a little bit more functionality, and the race driver is not bothered with it. So so that was I'm sure we're gonna see more of that.
Yeah. Can you tell a bit about the feedback from the actual race teams or from the actual car manufacturers? Like, how does it work? Like producing such a steering wheel, for example. Like, do they send you somehow a model of ideas or something, or do you come up with ideas and then put that together?
I mean, in terms of BMW, we had some. They basically gave us quite narrow specs, and said, okay, they want to have this amount of buttons, and then we discussed with them and said, okay, but we want to have a display as well, and this and that. With Bentley, we had more freedom. Actually, we had almost full freedom to design it exactly what I wanted, and the design we made was actually. Was created by myself in a bar on a piece of paper with some drinks. And
how many?
If you look at the steering wheel, obviously quite a bit. So
I like it.
And WC also. I mean, basically they had a rough idea, but always. it was with all those companies. It was a very cool and close cooperation, and the race drivers. If you ask 8 race drivers how they want to have a steering wheel, you get 20 opinions. So it's always a compromise somehow. But it's good and valuable information you get, and it's the real thing. So this is quite good, and I was especially proud of the comment from BMW when they said that the BMW the steering wheel we made for them was, aside from the Formula One steering wheels, the most sophisticated steering wheel they ever made, had in a car, and I think that coming from a toy company like us, I think that's quite cool.
Yeah, definitely, obviously. We're going to talk about pedals and the TRX as well soon, but I'm still going to stay at the wheel topic, because we have another wheel manufacturer over here, and you manufacture the wheel with McLaren. So could you please tell a little bit of that?
I can agree with Thomas on a lot of things regarding the manufacturing of real racing steering wheels and how it makes sense for the customer, for the manufacturer, and actually for everybody in the end. Most things that Thomas mentioned went pretty similar with us, and others completely different. So
bring it up.
The biggest difference was you said you had to add a button for the sim racers in the BMW logo. For us it was I developed the esports series, and then the connection to McLaren was during middle of the development, and for the real car I had to remove stuff because the real car doesn't want to have the joystick, the 7-way joysticks, for example, and I had to remove some buttons. It was too many buttons on the sim wheel because you don't need so many in the GT4. Yeah. But on the other hand, it makes completely sense because you can benefit on the real car regarding cost. We use the same molds, and the economy of scale works for the real car, and that's a pretty interesting point that's convincing the companies. And on the other hand, I would say sim racing wheels got to a point where they are so technological advanced and good, they almost push the boundaries of certain real racing cars when you have a look at how they looked 10 years ago, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you have the components, the market is really tight, new competitors everywhere, everybody is trying to raise the bar again. So sim racing is in kind of a golden era right now. Everything's getting better, and the real wheels benefit from this point as well, I would say.
And would you say like you reach kind of a roof or a ceiling, and there's nothing to improve anymore, or is there always something, and you just like whomever you ask, as you said, like the feedback will be different, and there will be new ideas all the time?
There is never a bar, so it would be a bold statement to say now everything is invented. Let's go home.
I guess the car manufacturers 100 years ago thought that this is the pinnacle of what they can do. Next year we're going to come up with other crazy ideas. So
I will ask you that, definitely. Wait for it. Then from steering wheels to perhaps the TRX. Next, you work together with the Alpine F1 team, and also you have the Formula One car there, which is also nice. Like, whenever you visit the fair, please make sure you go there. But tell us about the work.
Well, for us, it was pretty ambitious. We've been fabricating for 14 years. Well, at that point, it was 12. It's taken 2 years to get into production. We had around 1,200 pre-orders of the simulator, which are now shipping to all of our 7 warehouses. What we hadn't done is to design and produce a seat, and we've made a hybrid seat with the help of the F1 engineers at Alpine. They wanted realism in regards to like the seating position, but also how it feels in the car. With different body sizes in mind, we've created an amazing seat, which will be sold as a standalone. But the rig in itself is, I think it's a feat where you can change it between the different driving modes, Formula and GT, in minutes.
Okay.
So for us, it's massive. Like,
Have there been any, like, let's say, surprises in store for you during the development process?
so we were meant to ship the pre-orders in June, and earlier in the year, Alpine said, no, we're not happy with it. We want to change this and this and this. So we had to push it back to the Q4 of this year. So what the consumer gets is a much, much better product. It's a much more refined product with, lots of mounting points, lots more adjustment, etc. But I think we were a little bit optimistic to say June. So.
Okay, yeah, of course. But in the end, this is also kind of always a process, right? Like you have to wait until the project's done. But there are so many things that can happen during these processes. So my question would be, what has the feedback of professional drivers, both from esports and also from motorsports, been like, and what did they tell you? Like, actually, can you tell stories of, like, one day there was like an email of, I don't know, and it said?
Well, this for the new Alpine TRX. Well, last June we had it at in Enstone, the Alpine factory. Esteban Ocon jumped in it. He gave his feedback. We also had like Victor Martins and a few other the academy drivers jump in. So the feedback that they gave us played a big part in the final product.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But what did they say actually?
Well, it was more about seating position, angle, where the wheels sat. Flex is something that we do not have in our rigs. So that played a massive part in the construction of it. Like where do we put thicker materials than other areas to make the product really strong, but also keep the weight down because we ship our products and the TRX weighs almost 100 kilos.
Yeah, and that is a lot.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm trying to push you into telling like what Mr. Ocon just said when he was sitting inside the seat or something like that. But you wouldn't tell a story like that.
A lot happened, and it was over a year and a half ago. But the best feedback came from Elizabeth, who she's the composite designer for the seat that goes into the F1 rig. And then Ian Goddard, he's pretty high up in Alpine. So the feedback that came from those guys was more valuable than the drivers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for the finished product anyway. Okay. So thanks so much for that so far. André, you're, as you already said, like relative newcomers in the sim racing industry. With all the sim racing hardware available today, how challenging was it to make your mark with your own unique equipment while taking the next steps of sim racing hardware in general?
Well, let's talk in 5 years and see if we succeeded or not. But I would say with our Invicta pedals, we were able to do so because it was so different from anything else that was out there. And it was not a genius move on our side. It was the product we were able to crank out first. So therefore we started with the pedals. But seen in hindsight, I think it has been a pretty good idea. It's of course been important to us to show that we are more than a one-trick pony. So therefore we have been pushing hard on the other products as well. But the pedals have been a real success story for sure.
I think so too, of course. You're offering high-end pedals. Also hydraulics included and stuff, but now let's talk about tactile feedback. There are already first few manufacturers who have tried their hands on that. Like, how about you?
Yeah, but as I said, we come from the racing world. And of course, everything you can simulate is great. But if you can get the real thing, like you alluded to with the steering wheel, that's the same with the pedals. I think if you can get the real thing, it's nicer. So for example, at our technology showcase here, we are showing an ABS system. And it's not a simulation because it's an ABS pump and an ABS distributor from a race car. So it's not really a simulated feeling. You get the feeling like it would be in a race car. And to me, it's great if people are putting vibrators on their throttle. We are not doing that because it does not represent a race car. So we will stick to our guns in what we believe is the true representation, as close as you get to a real car.
Cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of that. So, are there actual plans to what's coming next?
In terms of pedals or just in general?
Well, let's say first in terms of pedals and then in general.
I think we have launched, I don't know, 4 or 5 different sets of pedals, including the Paganis this year. So I would say that's probably our pedal roadmap for now. The ABS will come as an option to basically from our entry-level pedals to the premium end that you can operate with that if you want to.
Yeah. Let me interrupt there with the Paganis, for example. Also, you worked with the manufacturer together.
Yeah.
So how was the feedback there, and how was the working process? Could you tell about?
Yeah, it was pretty easy in the sense. Well, nothing is easy, but I had this idea that I would like to work together with a hypercar manufacturer. And to me, at least, Pagani is just the ultimate. And I met Horacio Pagani at actually the opening of the Pagani atelier in Copenhagen. We exchanged business cards, and then, I approached them, and we met, and we had done a prototype, a CNC machine prototype that we showed them. And first time he saw it, he said, "This is like a piece of art." And they look better than in the real car. And of course, that was a funny moment, but his employees told me afterwards, "You should just know, André, this is not something he says often."
Cool.
So that was nice for sure.
Yeah, okay. So, and now it is not only pedals anymore, you're aiming on other stuff, right? Just tell.
Yeah, absolutely. We are, I would not say launching because we pre-launched it, but we are introducing 3 wheelbases down here. I think 2 different steering wheels, and then I also think, no pun intended, but instead of reinventing the wheels, we have also opened up. So, for example, Ascher, you can actually go and buy one of their steering wheels, and they will work with our wheelbase. So instead of having a locked ecosystem, it'll be an open ecosystem. So if you happen to like our wheelbase, but you don't like our wheels, or you already have one, you can use that. So that's some of the new stuff that we're showing down here. And of course, we're not going to stop with that. We're going to do many steering wheels for sure, rigs, seats, motion, everything. Okay,
you're aiming on a lot. Question to all of you. How much do you use moments like this, not only on stage, but at the whole fair, to just meet other manufacturers and just get in touch and perhaps cooperate in some ways? Or are you aiming on this, or is it more like a very close and competitive thing?
No, it's a great chance, and I really enjoy to do it once a year. If it's in Australia, let's do it twice a year. I would be there.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't have a certain plan to meet these guys or these. Just walk around and have a look and let me inspire, test products. And at this point, it's so difficult as a consumer to buy something without trying it out. So the Expo is the perfect place to have every manufacturer in one place. You can try all the products, mostly all of them that are on the market. Have a feel for it and have fun.
Yeah, I think so too. What do you think?
Well, we have a friendly and good relationship to a lot of those manufacturers here, and we had a tradition in the Sim Racing Expo that we are giving out free beers at the end of the show. Are we doing this year again? Yes, we do it. Okay. So we are all cool. It's a cool industry. There's enough space for everybody because it's growing fast, and there's always fruitful discussion. And I think it's a very, very cool and friendly environment. I always love to see my colleagues from the others and exchange ideas and everything. This is very cool.
Now that I have you talking, we were just talking about pedals. You already very much established the high-end market when it comes to wheels and wheelbases. But how about a podium range of pedals or something like that?
Podium pedals? This is great. Well, I had no idea about that, but thinking about it now it really makes sense. Yeah.
Does it?
You know what? Let's do it. Let's make podium pedals.
Are you announcing it right now?
Yes, I'm announcing it officially that we will work on podium pedals at some point.
Nothing more. Okay. Well, Or do you want to say more?
I guess you want to say you want to let me say more. No, well, it's you know, my marketing guys, they are watching me, and if I'm saying too much, usually.
Come on, Thomas. When? How much?
Yeah, exactly. I'm the king of announcing already, so I'm and they no, I won't this time. We already announced. We now have to deliver a lot of things, so it's this time is not about announcing. It's about delivering. So I'm gonna shut up.
Okay, like perhaps I can get you into one more little thing. I've heard about you. You've been working on your new headquarters in Landshut, and there are rumors about a karting track.
Those rumors spread fast, but it's actually it's not a rumor. So we had a. So I was a little bit jealous on Fiat having their own racetrack on the roof of their factory. I thought that's a very cool thing, and we are trying to do exactly the same. So on the top of the new building there will be a 2-floor racetrack, and I think that's a perfect match because most of our employees are sim racers or go-kart drivers anyway, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So it still will take a year to be finished, but that building is it's going to be cool. There's also a very big party location as well. I really believe in that work has to be to a certain degree. It also has to be fun. I want that people are coming to the office and enjoy it. And yeah, and if they want to stay a little bit longer, then we're gonna make it attractive for them.
Yes.
You know, last year I was in Ampfing, a popular kart track near Munich, and I met one of your employees there. He was wearing a suit branded with your company name, and now everything makes sense.
We have an official karting championship in our company, and they are doing that in Ampfing, yeah. So
okay.
He was training secretly.
Super fun, but it's so nice to see to get those insights from companies because, like, I think the humanity is so important, or like the feeling to work for a company and like to just have like basically have fun, and from this fun spread out and just produce nice stuff. That would be.
I mean, come on, it's a combination of video games and motorsport. How can that not be fun? Yeah.
Well, I could tell you several ways, but somehow you're absolutely right. Talking to you guys, please. Coming back to the question, how do you use this opportunity to meet everybody? Like, did you get in touch with some people already, or are you aiming on, or is it just like a tough and conquering spot to be?
Well, I think the industry is still learning what to do. And, you know, I met Thomas yesterday. You know, we are wanting to develop co-brand wheels for a few different manufacturers. So I've met with one brand. So I'll keep exploring that. But, yeah, I think everyone seems to keep their cards close. But, you know, I'm starting to meet everyone and proving that theory wrong. But
yeah. I think so too. That's a good idea. How about you?
Well, to be honest, I'm here to meet customers more so than my competitors. But that being said, it's like a race. I mean, when you're in the paddock, you can talk and be friendly, of course. But yes, of course, you keep your cards close because you want to win at the end of the day. But perhaps the difference here to motorsport is that in order to win, the others don't have to lose. So I think that's important too. And therefore, we're also talking to many different manufacturers because there's no reason to do everything yourself. But the primary reason to be here is, of course, to sell.
Good thing, though. Show it to the audience who will show up tomorrow and day after tomorrow and day after that. Yeah. So this is going to be hopefully a really nice sim racing party for everybody. Talking to Matt again and getting a bit into the topic. Talking about TRX, what benefits the challenges? Do you see potentially adding motion systems, for example, to your simulators?
We have just formed a partnership with one motion company. I'm not sure if it's still embargo or not.
Okay.
But that'll be announced most likely tomorrow. But if you go to our booth, it's pretty obvious.
So now, then you can tell it. No, but I don't want to talk you into it. But
yeah, but motion's on the cards. So we've developed our own software interface with the compatibility to add in motion in the future. So, hopefully that's something that will come next year, along with our own direct drive and peripherals that we've got on display. Yeah,
cool.
So we're not a one-trick pony.
So that's a good thing to hear. We've talked about a lot about motion bases, for example, about steering wheels, about pedals. But what do you think is it which is the most improvable for the future? Like where are you like aiming on, or where like thinking about? Would you like open your cards at least a little bit about that, like talking about the next year or next 5 years or something?
Everybody has his mouth shut.
Yes, of course.
I think one big improvement, not from my company, but in general, is VR is great, but I'm back to the monitor for now.
Yeah,
it's not so comfortable for endurance races and stuff like that. It gets better, and if we are at some point where, for example, virtual reality is like putting sunglasses on, this could open new possibilities. For now, it's awesome for trying it out. Some people are super convinced, some others not. But this is a point which could be improved, I think.
Okay, what do you think?
I mean, from a race driver's perspective, I think the biggest difference between sim racing and real world racing is probably the G-forces. At some point, this is also the reason why it's much easier for a sim racer to jump into a real car than for a race driver to go into a sim, which is actually quite hard to learn. Because a lot of the real-world race drivers, they get most of their feelings, how the car behaves through the body from the G-forces. And this is, even if you look at the Formula One simulators, which cost millions, even they were not able to reproduce it so far. So I think this is still the biggest challenge somehow to really make it much more realistic than that.
Yeah. You know what? On one of those nights that you already had, with a couple of drinks, like planning the steering wheel, I was coming up with the idea of a tactile feedback jello where drivers can like sit in and like getting moved in a tank or something like that. How do you think about that idea? You're like, what?
If I think 25 years ago, really, when I started this business, and I'm a man of quite some vision and ambitions, but I had no idea where this year Sebastian Loeb won the Rally Monte Carlo on our steering wheel. These are the things you cannot plan. So I have no idea where this will lead us, and things like that, or maybe directly plug it in. I have no idea. Things which might seem crazy now will be a future standard. So why not? Yeah, it's maybe not such a bad idea. Well,
yeah, keep it. It's for free. What is the craziest thing you are aiming on with your company? Is there something?
I don't really know exactly, but I think I agree to what they just said, all of it basically. But I think still where SimSport can improve quite a bit is on the user experience side, because if you have a console, yes, you can plug it in and you can drive. But if you look at the market, the sim market reminds me a lot of the, let's say, overclocking and cooling market 20 years ago. So no matter if we like it or not, we all represent hardware companies here. But to have a simulator to run, you almost need to be a PC enthusiast. That's how it is. Then new Windows update, then your driver won't work. Then there's a new driver, then the pedals will not work, then the wheel will not work. So I think there's still a lot of potential on the, let's say, cooperation between the software companies and the hardware companies to make it much easier. I have a lot of, let's say, pretty wealthy friends who like doing sim stuff, but they always use console, because every time they have a PC, then they come 2 weeks later with their friends. First they have to wait for Windows to do a service pack upgrade, and when the service pack upgrade is done, then there's no compatibility, then the display is not working, and it takes so much away. It's not something I can fix, and I'm not sure any of us can, but I think that's where the biggest potential is that I see.
I can highly recommend direct drives for consoles.
Okay. What can I say?
Is that true?
How about you? What's the craziest thing you can think of, like in the future, to produce or to manufacture?
Well, we've already developed the prototypes and the software for what we thought we would never do. We're getting out of we're staying in the fabrication game, but we're adding on. It's just a natural progression of offering that one-stop shop. So yeah, to have finished the software that actually works and have that vision of everything that goes into it, base shakers and direct drives and motion. It's exciting.
Okay. Cool, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So perhaps coming to an end and having just one more question. I in the beginning I said like we want to have a brief look into the future. I think we did that already, but again, looking at 2023 perhaps or 2024, what are going to be the biggest challenges and the biggest chances for these next 2, 3 to 5 years or something? What do you think?
I think I can speak for everybody when I say get components. Get electronic
chips.
parts. We want chips. Yeah. So in my case, or maybe for others as well, we wasted a lot of time redeveloping finished developments just to be compatible with other chips or components, and then this became unavailable, or suppliers changed their plan and stuff like that. First, we need to solve this issue, and then we can think about other stuff.
Okay, pass the question on.
Yeah, this year was really weird. I mean, it was the best year in the history of our company. The first time we crossed the 100 million turnover barrier, and at the same time it was really strange as well, because we had in the second half we did not have any products, any wheelbases available, and because of missing chips. So. And that's going to be solved, and we finally going to be available with products by beginning of next year. So this is the most thing what we are looking for, and and then just and finally switching our R&D, just like what Martin said, switching our R&D back to developing new products and not making replacement electronics, which is kind of boring. Yeah.
I believe so. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I can only second that. Supply chain issues all day long, and there's hardly a day. And even yesterday, I think we had a vendor that shut down in China now because of Corona. So it would be nice not to, at the end of the day, our wheelbases, it has been our supply chain dictating our R&D instead of the other way around, because we had to do products based on what we could get rather than what we would want. So for sure, that would be nice, not to having to deal with that again.
So that is the challenge. And what is the chance? Like perhaps, is there something, or is there something like
if I could answer that question, I would be a better position than being a CEO in a sim and cooling company, I think.
And you wouldn't be probably answering it.
No.
For you, same?
I think I got lucky with this chip shortage. We're only going into it next year, so hopefully things there improve. But yeah, with everything going on in China at the moment with the riots, etc., then that's causing complications, new complications. So.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much for your visionary ideas and also for telling about them. Let me ask to the controls if there are any questions from the audience. I guess not. I would have seen them over there. So then, I think we are done. Thanks so much for having a brief look into the future with me. Thank you. Martin Ascher, founder of Ascher Racing. Thank you. Thomas Jackermeier, founder of Fanatec. Thank you. André Eriksen, founder of Asetek. And thank you, Sten, founder of Trak Racer.
Thank you.
So good to have you here. Do we have a round of applause? Yes. Thank you, guys. You're free to go. Just leave the stage and put the microphones in the back. That would be so nice. Thanks. Great having you. Thanks. Thanks for passing by.